desire that gets you in, and it's recognizing when you are ready to let go of everything more precious than. Hi, I'm Jeff Barkman, and I talk about things. Today, I'm talking about a core value of mine that I adopted when I was in ministry school. The nice thing about the ministry school that I went to is that they had kind of laid out the core values that they were attempting to instill within us. And I think that it's so valuable for us to be able to define our core values and then apply those core values to all of the ways we make decisions. So the core value that I try to live by, the core value that I have, it's called responsive to grace. And this is a core value that honestly, in ministry school, it doesn't get talked about like a ton from the angle that I want to talk about it. But I think it's key to intimacy with God, being responsive to the grace that's present in our lives. I think that there's a key question that we can ask every single day that really does create a lifestyle that is responsive to grace. And that question is, what is the invitation that's available to me right now, today? What do I mean by that? I believe that the Lord is leading us perfectly all the time. The Lord is always speaking to us. He's always releasing his love to us. He's always saying yes to us, and saying yes to relationship with us. So that means that at every moment, he is inviting me into something that allows him to gain ground in my heart, to gain ground in my life, to gain ground in my family and all my relationships. There's always an invitation to step into. And so the question that I often ask, I can't say that I do it every day, because let's be honest, some days I don't, and those are not the funnest days. But the question I ask is, Lord, what is the invitation? What are you inviting me into today? What does today look like? What does success look like today? What does productivity look like today? What is, honestly, sometimes he says productivity looks like rest. Crazy. But he knows when I need rest, and so he tells me when to rest. The other question is, what's required to actually answer the call, the invitation? Like, what do I actually need to do to answer the invitation? Sometimes there's an invitation to make videos about hearing the voice of God and interacting with the Lord. And sometimes there's an invitation to play NHL 20 on my PlayStation 4. And sometimes there's an invitation to, read the entire book of Hebrews in one sitting, which was super awesome, by the way. Honestly, like, the book of Hebrews talks about the heaven realm a lot, and it's really cool. And I think like the concept of looking for the invitation that's available today is also mirrored in the Old Testament. In the book of Exodus, when the children of Israel came out of Egypt, Moses took 1 million people into the desert with no plan. And there was they had no idea how they were going to eat or anything. And the Lord created some kind of weird food called manna. And it just kind of formed like dew in the desert. And that is what this 1 million people ate in the desert. This is why I'm saying, like, when we think that the Lord is not leading us perfectly, we're so mistaken. Like, God's plan was so ridiculous, no one could have fathomed what he was planning to do. Create some kind of food that manifests like dew in the desert, enough of it to feed 1 million people? Ridiculous. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is, if they tried to hoard the manna and save some for tomorrow, it would go bad. And I feel like the Lord used that to paint a picture of a spiritual reality, which is that every day revelation is available to us. Every day his voice is available to us. And it's those days that we intentionally connect to his voice that are going to be the good days. And if we try to take what he told us yesterday and feed on it today, it might still be good. Like, it's not going to be rotten like the manna was. And there's definitely something to be said for like listening back to old prophecies. I know my wife Megan and I this past week we listened back to a lot of these prophetic words that we've been given over the years that we have recordings of, and we felt really encouraged. So I'm not saying that you don't want to feed on what the Lord has said in the past. What I am saying is that there's available today. Listen, God is infinite. He doesn't have to hold any of himself back for later. So he's available. All of himself is available today, and all of himself is going to be available tomorrow. So I just want to encourage you. Look at what the invitation today is and ask him what you need to do to step into it and just do it. And that's how you start to learn to walk by the Spirit. And be led by desire. So it's just like you got to pursue the fresh revelation each day. Adapt, man. Adapt. Like, change your lifestyle. We're in quarantine. It's the easiest time to adapt. I don't want to put pressure on you to be like, you need to spend 5 hours in the secret place every single day. But if there was ever a time that you could do that, this would be it. And I think like there's just kind of one key, I would say, that sort of ties this whole thing together. And that is the scripture that says that his grace is sufficient for us today. And I think it's so easy to not believe that. It's so easy to slip into this mindset that says what's happening to me right now is too much for me. It's too hard for me. When the truth is that the supernatural grace to accomplish whatever the invitation is today is present for you. He leads us perfectly, and he provides for us what we need to accomplish what he's asking of us. So thank you so much for watching these videos. I really appreciate you being on my channel and hanging out with me like this. I love it. So don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. There should be a subscription thing right here. And bless you.